What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the No BS Sports Zone. Rob Johnson here for another episode 2 of the No BS Sports Zone Reloaded. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a hot show for you guys today, and just to let you know, if you want the graphics, if you want the good stuff, you gotta get the views up. I'm not gonna sit here and just give you guys graphics, video, and all that stuff, and I don't get the damn views. This is the No BS Sports Zone, where I don't BS you, don't BS me. Get the damn views up. Get it up on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Mostly, I know last night I had a little problem with Twitter because it didn't post it, which pissed me off. It put a little bit, it only put my intro on Instagram, so I'll make sure that I put some of the video on Instagram so you guys can know how to get to YouTube. But get the YouTube views up, get the subscriptions up, subscribe about it. I think I'm the greatest in the world. I'm the best in the world. You have to think you're the best in the world. Now, with all that being said about best in the world, you know who's not best in the world? The New Orleans freaking Pelicans. Ladies and gentlemen, last night, they played the Brooklyn Nets, a returning Kevin Durant. They beat down the Pelicans. The story is that this is such a young team that has a lot of promise, but yet and still they continue to wet the bed. A team that is sitting 11th in the West. They better be glad they have a play-in, because if they didn't, they wouldn't even be close to a playoff spot. So when I look at the Pelicans, they're underachievers. They are just not a team that I think can rise to the occasion. Zion Williamson should not be in New Orleans, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, New Orleans shouldn't even be a basketball city. It's a football city, and I just think the Pelicans are just there. You know, we don't have basketball in Seattle, which really just teased me off. I can't stand that we don't have basketball in Seattle, but we have basketball in New Orleans? And they're called the Pelicans? Who the hell thought of a name, the Pelicans? You called them anything. You could have called them the Blues. You could have called them the Black and Miles. Anything is better than some freaking Pelicans. I'm just saying, man. They're not appealing. They have young talent, but I just feel like they don't mesh. The worst thing of all, you go out and hire a Van Gundy? Ugh. Man, these guys are washed up, man. You know, the brothers on TV, I don't like hearing them half the time. You know, Mark Jackson makes that guy. He makes the broadcast. Then he got the other brother, the huskier one, who, you know, I don't even want to call their names out. Their names aren't even important to me. But what I'm saying is that you got the huskier one, you know, with his little screechy voice and all this. The coach of the New Orleans Pelicans should have been Mark Jackson. Mark Jackson, who took the Golden State Warriors and built that team, gave it on a silver platter to Steve Kerr. Listen, I'm a Steve Kerr guy. He played with the Bulls. I was a Bulls fan growing up. However, we see what's happening now. Steve Kerr can't build a team. Mark Jackson built that team. Yes, you got Kevin Durant come over, but that was an out of sorts move that a lot of fans and people did not see coming when it came to the Golden State Warriors. I feel that Mark Jackson can build a team. I feel that he can come in and do some great things, especially with that young New Orleans Pelicans team. But I'm going to say this again, and I'm going to continue to say it until you can beat a dead horse what I'm trying to say. I'm going to continue to say this, all right? Zion Williamson should not be in New Orleans. Let's get him to New York. Let's get him to Chicago. And it's not because I'm a Bulls fan. It's just because he needs to be in a better market. He needs to be somewhere where he's more appealing. And also, Zion must make sure that he lives up to the expectations. We had so many high expectations coming in for Zion. Then you had the pandemic. You had injuries, you had this, you had that. If you remember, he blew out of his shoe. I mean, this guy has had a hell of a ride for a 21, 22-year-old so far in his collegiate and professional career. So, I'll continue to say I cannot stand the New Orleans Pelicans name. I can't stand the fact that they have a team that plays basketball in that city. No offense to New Orleans, but I just want it in Seattle. Put it somewhere else. You know, Put it somewhere else where I can have respect, because it just doesn't feel like the team and the league are vibing. It doesn't feel like a true basketball city. I know some people may disagree with me on that. You know, you got some Pelicans fans out there who may be very pissed off at me. I don't really give a damn, because this is a No BS Sports Zone, and that's just the way I feel about things. Now, moving on. Let's talk about the NFL for a second, folks, and specifically a situation that happened. Not only, I think it was like a day ago. It happened a day ago. Former NFL wide receiver and Florida State product, Travis Rudolph, was indicted on murder. Folks, let me say, we don't know what these athletes sometimes are going through. We don't know what these athletes have going on behind closed doors. Just because we see the quote-unquote money, the fame, you know, the glamour and all the other stuff, you don't know what these guys have going on. You don't know what kind of things are going through these guys' minds. You don't know what kind of effects CTE can have. Not saying that in his case. I'm just saying that, you know, we put so much hype and we put so much credence behind these athletes that, you know, they're people too. Rudolph is going to go to jail. He's going to probably go to jail for a very long time. I don't know if he's facing a possible death penalty. Apparently the situation was over a dispute. All I can say is this. We have got to, and I'm being serious when I say this, we have got to make sure that we stop looking up to athletes. Kids out there, start looking up to your parents. Start looking up to your grandparents. Start looking up to people who are in your life, because these athletes are going to let you down. It doesn't matter what sport they come from. They are not always what they seem, and we put too much pressure on our athletes to be role models. Charles Barkley once said, "I am not a role model." Ladies and gentlemen, be a role model to your kids. Be a role model and show them the way. If you want them to get in sports, great. If they don't want to get into sports, don't pressure them. Sports is something where we have all loved our whole lives, if you've ever been into it. Once you feel the taste, the smell of sports, you love it for the rest of your life. But we've got to make sure that we also tell our kids out here, admire people that are in your community. You know, hell, admire yourself. Because these athletes are going to let you down, from the highest profile. You know, these guys are normal people just like me and you. But some people don't understand that. They don't want to understand that, because they want to feel something that's bigger than themselves. They don't see enough credence in their own life that they can't see an athlete being just like them. You know, like I said, besides the money and all that, they're just like you. So, you know, we got to get it together when it comes to these athletes. And, you know, when it comes to a young man like Travis Rudolph, you know, he had that great story where he had lunch with an autistic child, and he was, you know, he was just a good guy, it seemed like, but we don't know what people are going through. So rest in peace to the people who were in that situation, and, you know, all the best to him in the sense of, you know, I hope he gets himself some help, and if he's in jail for the rest of his life, then I hope he finds that peace that he needs. And if he can't, then I don't know what to say. But, you know, hopefully the affected of the people who died are able to come to grips to peace, and maybe he can as well. But it's going to be a long road for everyone involved. Next topic, ladies and gentlemen, as we talk about the world of sports, the Deshaun Watson saga continues as the lawyer has granted emergency hearings over women's ID. Listen, this is smart. I'm not going to spend much time on this, but let me just say this. Yes, it's time to get stuff out there. As I said yesterday, let's get the crap out there. Let's get this thing going, because the longer it drags on, the worse it's going to be for everybody else. I said that yesterday. I'll continue to say it. The more this drags on and the more we don't have IDs and the more we don't know who is involved, it is going to drag on. It's going to make people start to look bad. And either way, lives will be destroyed. Let's get this thing wrapped up, ladies and gentlemen, as fast as we can. Now, let's move on. Baltimore Orioles Trey Mancini gets a standing ovation in his first home at bat since return from cancer. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a big clap for Trey Mancini. Let me tell you something, folks. When you come back from anything, an injury, when you come back from, a family death, all that stuff, it's horrible. When you're dealing with things that people can't imagine, but especially a killer like cancer. Ladies and gentlemen, we have so many frustrated people out there who are dealing with cancer, who have family members who are dying. We have been focused on coronavirus for the last year or so, but yet and still people are dying from that disease, that sickening disease we call cancer. People are losing their hair. People are losing their strength. People are losing their minds. People are losing their spirits because of cancer. And for Trey Mancini to be able to come back like he did for the Baltimore Orioles and get a standing ovation, folks, for me, it doesn't matter what he does the rest of his career. It doesn't matter if he hits 1 home run, 2 home runs, 100 home runs. Ladies and gentlemen, when you come back from something that serious, I feel that you have accomplished more than most of us have accomplished in our whole lifetimes. Cancer is serious. I don't care what kind of form of cancer it is. I don't care if I don't care what it is. Cancer is a serious thing, and we just need to give a shout out to that man, because I can't imagine coming back from it. We've all had our health problems here or there, but from a man, a woman, anyone to come back to the sport they love after suffering cancer, I tell you, it just makes me feel good about humanity, when right now a lot of stuff going on in our society is really, really dark. So that makes me feel good. So shout out to Trey Mancini and the Baltimore Orioles for that feat. Ladies and gentlemen, now we are going to go ahead and talk about, guess what? The Denver Broncos, who I said yesterday should take Zach Wilson. They're now talking about the Denver Broncos moving up to number 5 to take Justin Fields. What do I think about Justin Fields possibly going to Denver? I think it'd be a good move. I think it would be a good move. I think that's a system where he could go. He could get some good running ability in. I think he has good weapons. I think they need to incorporate another decent running back. But I think Justin Fields in Denver is a very good thing. And, if Denver wants to make that move, if Denver thinks that this is the move for them to become contenders, then, folks, I think they should do it. Because for too long, the Denver Broncos have struggled and not had a quarterback. Since John Elway, what kind of quarterback do you think they've had that's had success? I mean, you could think about Jake Plummer, but he had, some decent success, but not too much. You have to go all the way to Peyton Manning in the 2010s. And then when he fell off, he really fell off. So this could be the moment in time where the Denver Broncos really get back to being the Denver Broncos. They just have to make sure they make the right move here. They have to make sure that the coaching staff is what fits Justin Fields. I'll continue to say it again. Justin Fields is a top 5 pick, but if he goes to a system where the coaches don't believe in him, folks, it won't matter. It just won't matter. If they do not let Justin Fields be Justin Fields and let him do the special things he can do, folks, it does not even matter where he goes. Ladies and gentlemen, that has been Rob Johnson for the No BS Sports Zone here on Rob Johnson Media. I will see you guys tomorrow.